So who are you going to give your time to? It puts it into a perspective for them of like, I have value. This self-value grows in them to say, yeah, who do I want to give my time to? Because I don't want to give it to someone that's not going to appreciate it or is going to make me upset the whole time because they're not playing nicely or they're trying to hurt my feelings. So if we can focus that, because we know in travel ball, not only is it take a ton of money, but it's a lot of your time. And your daughter is spending so much time with these teammates. Hi, welcome to the Weekly Dose. The last couple weeks we have been talking about how to reflect on the season, looking at your stats, being able to ask some questions so you can continue to grow as a pitcher and learn what is helping you, what isn't, which direction do I need to go. Remember, you shouldn't be the same pitcher in the beginning of a season at the end. Physically, we're gonna learn new pitches. We might get a pitch that was already good and it's starting to get a little bit more movement and break. But a lot of our growth happens in the mind. If we're not robots and we're really learning strategies and trying to figure out where to place that ball to an aggressive batter, we're gonna grow. So remember that reflection is very important. It's not a time for you pitchers to feel bad about yourself of like, I did so bad in this area. That happens with any job. Any job, you have meetings with your boss to go over the areas in which you need to improve on and what you're doing well. So it's just a situation that you have to start getting used to because it's really a life lesson and things that are going to happen in your future. This week, we are going to talk about the future, the next season, and we are going to talk about which direction do I go. I know there's a lot of families out there that are in debates and are having lots of discussions about the future season. Which team should we try out for? Which team should we choose? We've gotten acceptance from both teams. What do we do? And so I just want to give my opinions, and that's all it is. It's not saying this is how you should do it. I'm sure every situation is different because you've had situations in your past that have guided you to where you are currently. You might have had a verbally abusive coach where that's really important to you, or you might have been on a losing team and that really defeated your daughter. So my opinions aren't the tell-all of what you should do, but there are definitely some things that I think you should consider, knowing that I'm pulling back my experience of playing 7 years in travel ball with the same organization, because back in the day, we didn't have many teams. We didn't have many organizations. And so I was loyal for 7 years because it was great organization. It was great people, like the families, because we were all stuck together for the most part. And so I was lucky. So I'm going to take that into consideration too. But also, I'm going to take into consideration that I have 3 daughters and they all have different personalities. I have one that's really sensitive and one that needs something that my older daughter doesn't need. And so you know your daughter's best. I'm just going to throw out my thoughts on it because I think it's something that parents, you really are interested in hearing because you are at this fork in the road of what do we do? So in our family, we make family decisions. What that means is we value our daughter's opinions and we let them know that their voices matter and that we want to hear their thoughts and opinions on a decision that we are going to make. That's a big one. This would be one that my daughter would have more skin in the game because it is where she is spending a lot of her time. It's her team, it's her thing. So parents, we get very emotional because we've seen the past season and we've seen our daughters crying and we've seen our daughters so frustrated and just like, I don't even love softball anymore, and that breaks our heart. So we don't want her to be in that situation again, and we want to make it better. That's definitely something that I know would happen to me. But when making big decisions, we have to take our emotions out of it and get the facts and get everything in line. And maybe these are discussions when you have with your family when you are not emotional, your daughter or yourself or the husband's hot and fiery, whatever. We need to make sure that it's a time that we can really be rational and just sit down and like talk. Another important thing that we do with our family and that I've really stressed from when the girls really started school, we know that girls can be mean in class and on the playgrounds. And so we've talked a ton about our time. So for example, one of my daughters comes home and says, oh my gosh, so-and-so, the girls were so mean to me at recess. And I say, okay, well, you only get 20 minutes, and so 20 minutes is not a lot of time to run around and play. So who are you going to give your time to? You only get 20 minutes. Who do you want to give it to? And it puts it into a perspective for them of like, I have value. The self-value grows in them to say, yeah, who do I want to give my time to? Because I don't want to give it to someone that's not going to appreciate it or is going to make me upset the whole time because they're not playing nicely or they're trying to hurt my feelings. So if we can focus that, because we know in travel ball, not only is it take a ton of money, but it's a lot of your time. And your daughter is spending so much time with these teammates, practices during the week, all weekends, families. You guys are spending so much time with these other families in the stands, going to dinners and lunches and traveling. And then finally, your daughters are spending so much time with the coaches. And so what that looks like for me and our family is, who do we want to give our family time to? There's got to be some value to this team if that's who we're going to choose, because ultimately we haven't started travel ball. But I know what it entails. I give tons of lessons to girls that tell me stories, horror stories, but also some wonderful stories. And it's something that we are looking forward to. We're not rushing it, but who do we want? We have our weekends. We have our family time now, and I know it'll go away, but it doesn't have to. It has to be in a place that we want to go to, because that's where we're going to be spending our times and our weekends here and there and with the people. So it's definitely important. What I would advise, and if I was in this situation and we were between teams and we're just like, what do we do? It's definitely something that would go like, hey, Jamie, I know you're conflicted, but we want to hear your opinion and we value your opinion of what's important to you. So Jamie, can you tell me what is a priority? What is the main thing you want from your travel ball team? And Jamie might say, I don't know, like all the teenagers do. And that's where we say, okay, listen, like when you were little, mommy used to make all your decisions, but you are starting to grow up and you're becoming this lady, and that means you have to start making decisions, even if it's difficult. So if you want us to make the decision for you, we will. But you might not be happy with that decision. So we need your input and we need to hear your voice. You're empowering her. You're empowering her to say like, this matters and we want you to come alongside us to make this family decision. She may say, I just want to spend time with my friends. Like, I want it to be fun. That 100%, we're giving our time to something, it should be fun. They may say, well, I want playing time. Like, I don't want to sit on the bench. That's definitely something that should be valued. As a parent, I'm going to then speak up and say, well, Jamie, it is very important for you to have fun and to love the game that you're giving a lot of your time to. Those are the first two things that come to the top of my mind that I want for you. But if your goals are to play in college, if your goals are to strive to get better and be the best, I really want you to be on a team where the coach is legit, that the coach is going to get you better in practices than just playing games. So what that looks like to me is a coach that is organized in practice. Again, we're giving you our time. We just drove 30 minutes to an hour to get to this practice, to sit around for 2 hours. You better be challenging my daughter, because then we have to drive home an hour and get home at 10:30, 11 on a school night. It better be valuable, because I know that I get better in practice and not just playing games. I may get one defensive ball. I may pitch 10 innings. I want to get better in practice. And so to me, that's very important, is the coach is the leader of my daughter. My daughter's looking up to this coach, and my daughter is being molded. And which way do I want the coach to mold my daughter? I want I always say that because my coaches were mainly male, except my college coach. I want the coach to challenge my daughter in an encouraging way. They give grace when there is failure, because they know that my daughter's trying to do her best and bust her butt. And of course you can coach her. I'm not saying you can't get on her and say, move your feet, Yeah, you should have moved your feet. But there's not this belittling, there's not this ego trip where they have to make people look, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated with these girls, they suck, no, we're not doing that. We will pull our daughters so quickly from a team. So for me, it's the coach is very important. I don't care what is written across our chest. That is who is leading this team. But it's important to my daughter that she has fun, that she loves the game. So I take that all into consideration. So when we have these two teams that are choices for us, then we need to look at those. Family decision. Are these girls, you have any problems with them, or some of them are horrible people and teammates? Now, we're not going to not choose a team because there's some horrible girls. Because every single team that you could play on in college, some rosters are 24 to 30. You're not going to like everybody. There's going to be drama, okay? So it's a matter of managing that, teaching my daughter to find her people and to focus, stay in her lane, encourage everybody. There's a lot of lessons in that. But I need the coach to lead that. I need the coach to say that's not going to be tolerated. But we can't just find the perfect angel team where everybody is just super positive. Now, there are teams like that out there, and stay with it because that is special. But most other teams, they're not like that. So the teams that get that way is because the coaches don't tolerate it. The coaches are like, I don't care if you're great, get out of here if you're not going to be a good person and a good teammate. So for me, the focus is the coach. Can the coach get my daughter better? Can the coach lead in a positive way? And so we would sit with that and we would go back and forth. We're like, gosh, have we seen this coach at any tournaments? We're going to make phone calls to other parents. We're not just one, we're going to do some research. We're going to figure out what that looks like. Sometimes family decisions come down to they practice an hour away. I just can't do that. We can't do that. And that's a family decision to say, that's not going to be fun for our family. We are not going to make you go to sleep at midnight on Wednesday nights because we have to get to practice. Now, maybe for you, that doesn't matter and that's not a priority. Every family is different. My husband will not tolerate poor behavior. We know that there's parents that are full of emotions, but we're not going to tolerate belittling children and yelling at umpires. If those are those families, then we don't want to be a part of that team. That's something that's really important to us. I know I've been rambling on all these decisions, but that is how we will make those decisions. We will come together, listen to our daughter. Our daughter can easily just say, I'm done, I just want to take a break, because she's not happy. We have to take into consideration her voice, but we also are the leaders and we know sometimes what's best for her. Listen, I know that this coach is not going to be good for you. I know that. He is very aggressive with his words and you are very sensitive and you're going to just try to please him. You're not going to feel great on this team. So we have to lead with that. But it is hard. It's hard. It's hard because there's always goods and bads on every team and on every organization. You have to decide as a family what is the most important thing for you as parents, the most important thing for your daughter, and see if you can find a resolution or come up with a decision based on those two things. Figure out what's important to you, what you can give up. Some of you parents, you're like, I can just sit in the outfield, I don't care about these parents. And that's awesome, because then you can find the team that is great kids. I hope that this gives you a little bit more advice or direction. I look forward to any questions that you have, and I will give my advice. I hope that this helps you and your families make the decision that's best for y'all. And if you have any questions, please write them down and let me know, and we can definitely get those answered.